China's $50 billion canal threatens Panama's reign. Nicaragua bets its future on mega project. Global trade faces shockwaves as new route emerges. These are the headlines flashing across news tickers from New York to Hong Kong. But, it's not just another infrastructure story. This is a battle for the future of global trade. And it all starts quietly in a dusty Nicaraguan village at sunrise. The air is thick with anticipation. Trucks rumble over makeshift roads. Surveyors in bright vests squint at blueprints. Farmers stand at the edge of their fields, just watching. Overhead, a Chinese drone buzzes, mapping the path of what could become the world's most important waterway. The Nicaragua Canal, backed by Chinese billions, has moved from rumor to reality. The stakes are enormous. If finished, this canal could rewrite the map of global shipping. It could redraw alliances and spark a new era of rivalry, not just between Panama and Nicaragua, but between the United States and China. The world is watching, and in the villages along the canal route, life will never be the same. For over a century, the Panama Canal has powered world trade, linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. More than 13,000 ships pass through each year, carrying everything from iPhones to oil. The canal cuts weeks off voyages, a shortcut that changed the world. It's a symbol of American ambition and global leadership. But now, Panama faces a new challenge, a rival waterway just a few hundred miles to the north. Enter Nicaragua. For decades, it watched as Panama grew rich from the canal dream Nicaragua once held. Now, with help from China's Hong Kong-Nicaragua Canal Development Group, the country is fighting for a second chance. The plan is audacious, a canal twice as wide and deeper than Panama's, able to handle the world's largest ships. China is putting its money and muscle behind the project. HKND, led by enigmatic billionaire Wang Jing, has pledged up to $50 billion. An amount equal to 5 times Nicaragua's GDP. The canal fits neatly into China's Belt and Road Initiative, a global strategy to build trade routes and gain influence from Asia to Africa and Latin America. For China, the canal is more than business. It's a strategic play. By controlling a second choke point between the Atlantic and Pacific, China can influence global shipping and challenge America's dominance in the Western Hemisphere. For Nicaragua, it's a shot at transformation. The government promises jobs, growth, and a path out of poverty, but the risks are huge. The project is controversial at home and abroad. Environmentalists warn of disaster. Locals fear displacement. And some economists ask, is there really enough demand for 2 mega canals? A century ago, Nicaragua was actually the favorite to host the canal. Its wide lakes and flat terrain seemed, well, perfect. In the late 1800s, US engineers even staked out a route. But then, politics intervened. A French failure in Panama, and a well-timed eruption of Nicaragua's Mamatambo volcano shifted the momentum south. US lobbyists circulated stamps showing smoking volcanoes, stoking fears in Congress. In 1903, Panama, then a Colombian province, seized the moment. Supported by US warships, it declared independence. The US struck a deal for a narrow strip of land, and the rest is, honestly, history. Panama got the canal, and Nicaragua was left with dreams and regrets. For decades, Nicaraguan leaders floated canal schemes, but wars, dictatorships, and poverty blocked every attempt. The dream never died, though. In 2013, President Daniel Ortega signed a controversial deal with HKND, reviving hopes and fears. Suddenly, the world's attention swung back to Nicaragua, and the old rivalry with Panama returned. Today, that rivalry is fiercer than ever. The stakes are not just commercial, but geopolitical. The world wonders, can Nicaragua succeed where it failed before? And what will it cost? The Nicaragua Canal is nothing short of colossal. The plan calls for a 278-kilometer waterway, over 3 times longer than Panama's. It will cut through forests and farmland, cross Lake Nicaragua, and empty into the Caribbean. The locks will dwarf Panama's, designed for ships up to 400,000 tons, so-called post-Panamax giants that can't fit through most existing canals. To build it, engineers will move more earth than the Great Wall of China. Towns and villages will be relocated. New ports, airports, free trade zones, and tourist resorts are planned along the route. HKND promises tens of thousands of jobs, skilled and unskilled. The government dreams of a new era of prosperity. But the challenges are honestly staggering. Environmentalists warn that dredging Lake Nicaragua could destroy the region's water supply and biodiversity. Indigenous communities fear losing their land. The cost, $50 billion, could bury Nicaragua in debt for generations if the canal fails to deliver. Still, construction has begun, with Chinese engineers leading the way. The world's biggest ships, and the world's biggest hopes, are riding on this gamble. Success could revolutionize trade. Failure could cripple a nation. The numbers tell a dramatic story. The Panama Canal is 80 kilometers long, with locks 55 meters wide. It can handle ships up to 14,000 containers. Nicaragua's canal, by contrast, is planned at 278 kilometers, with locks 83 meters wide. Enough for supertankers and mega container ships that can't traverse Panama. Panama charges high fees, but offers reliability, decades of experience, and proven security. The government reinvests profits in infrastructure and social programs. Nicaragua's model is riskier, a foreign-built, foreign-run canal, with profits and control potentially flowing overseas. Supporters say it will force Panama to lower prices, sparking a price war that could benefit shippers worldwide. But there are doubts. Can global trade support two mega canals in such close proximity? Will shipping companies risk an unproven route through a poor, politically unstable country? Will price competition make either canal unprofitable? Both countries, and the world's traders, are watching closely. The rivalry is about more than money. It's about pride, power, and the right to shape the future of global commerce. In Managua, government officials speak of a new dawn. They say the canal will lift millions from poverty, put Nicaragua on the map, and cement ties with the world's rising superpower. This is our chance, says one minister, to escape the shadow of Panama and become a gateway for the world. But not everyone shares the optimism. In villages along the route, farmers worry about losing their land. Indigenous leaders stage protests, waving banners and chanting, "La tierra no se vende." The land is not for sale. Environmentalists warn of extinction for rare species. Economists fear a debt trap. What if the ships don't come? Asks a local businesswoman. What then? For China, the canal is a test of its global ambitions. For the US, it's a threat to a century-old sphere of influence. For Central America, it's a crossroads: prosperity or peril, independence or outside control. The world's shipping giants, investors, and politicians are holding their breath. The digging has started. The protests grow. Nicaragua stands at a historic crossroads. The outcome is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The race for the canal will send shockwaves around the globe.